Assalamu alaikum. It's Army Public School Boys Childhood Camp, and I'm here in F6 online sport program. I'm Umar Khan, and today we'll be talking about science. And this lecture is for Monday, 4th of May, 2020. Let's start with today's lesson, but before starting, let's have a little recap, and that would be, like we have studied previously on a leaf, in the structure of leaf, that what is a petiole, midrib, blade, vein, and small or different veins. So the objective of today's lesson would be that students would be able to explain the morphology and anatomy structure of the leaf. That you guys will be having a complete understanding about today's lecture. It's chapter number 2, plants and their systems. The topic would be photosynthesis, and the page number would be 20 and 21. Let's talk about photosynthesis, but before that, I want to hear the answers from you guys. Do answer in the comment section. Do answer like below anywhere you find this video. Then what is a photosynthesis? What do you have the concept of photosynthesis previously, or the previous hand on the previous note? What was the concept that was in your mind of photosynthesis? I would be waiting for your answers. Now let's talk. What is a photosynthesis? Like, look at the diagram. What are you saying? What are you getting about that? What is going on in this diagram? That there is a leaf, a sun, and arrows in blue and red color depicting. Now, I'll be coming on this later on. Let's talk that green plants can use light energy to make their own food. This process is called as photosynthesis. You all know that the process through which plants make their own food is known as photosynthesis. You know it. You know it. The chlorophylls are the green chemicals that are useful in making food for the plants. Chemistry behind photosynthesis is water, carbon dioxide, and raw material. Okay. But now let's come on the diagram, and the diagram depicts that photosynthesis would be made when light would be absorbed by the leaves. When the light energy would be absorbed by the leaves, alongside light energy, carbon dioxide and water would be working to make foods, and then these would make carbohydrates and oxygens for us. Right? The blue arrow shows that carbon dioxide plus water plus light energy, when in the leaves, is making some process, is doing some process, and after that process, carbohydrates and oxygen is released. Okay, the basic morphology of a leaf. What is the basic morphology of a leaf? Yeah, let's look at the diagram. There are four, depicting. There are veins, midrib, main vein, lamina, leaf blade, and petiole, leaf stalk. You know that everything has its own functionality. We'll be talking about basic morphology of a leaf. That would be veins. It provides support for the leaf and transport both water and minerals throughout the leaf. Then there comes the midrib, which is also known as main vein. It helps the leaf to on the upright position. It helps to keep the leaf on like straight or whatever the position it is. Then lamina, which is also a leaf blade. You know that Allah Almighty, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, have made nothing useless. Each and everything has its own functionality. Each and everything, a minor or a major, has its own concept, has its own use, and no other thing can replace it. So the leaf blade, which also contains vascular tissues, it delivers water and nutrients to the leaves. Then there comes leaf stalk, petiole, which attaches the leaf blades to the stem. It attaches, like, you know that we water the roots, then the roots provide water to the stem, then the stem provides it to the petiole, leaf stalk, which provides it to the then main vein, and main vein provides it to veins and then leaf blades. Means that a complete process is going on behind. This is the morphology of a leaf. Okay, but before we talk about the anatomy of leaf, you know that there is an amazing concept that states, like, for photosynthesis, I'll be going with this amazing concept. You know that there is an old saying that don't go under the tree at night time. Why? If carbon dioxide is so much useful that it makes oxygen, and plants release oxygen, then why it isn't? Suppose like there are many misconceptions that don't go. Why? You know any idea? Let me tell you something. At night time, plants release carbon dioxide in a large quantity, which is much harmful for human beings. Along only carbon dioxide and water cannot be used in the process of photosynthesis. They cannot make food, they cannot make oxygen, they cannot make carbohydrates. They will only make when there would be light. If there is only light and water, there is no carbon dioxide, means the food would be not made for the plants. These things are utmost necessary to make oxygen. Let's talk about the anatomy of the leaf from this video. I've turned off the video's voice that you people would be easy to understand that because it was making some kind of noise. So I've turned it off. Let's talk about it, okay? But if you want this video, I'll provide it. Do ask me in the comment section or in at any place. I'll provide you this video. It would get much more easier to understand it. Let's play. Okay, leaf anatomy. What is the anatomy of a leaf? There is a, you know that about photosynthesis and transpiration, that when carbon dioxide is released in a plant, then water molecules are released out. Like you are saying the upper side, which are chloroplasts. They are absorbing light. Like this is a pointer depicting that above there is a sunlight passing on. Then you know that the water supply, which is much more necessary in the transpiration in food making process, then you are seeing this osmosis, like water molecules are, and then flow of water in the xylem. That xylem flow is going on, like see alongside it. Then you see that there are xylem tubes in the water. Water is going on through them, and xylem and phloem is taking water basically. Then it splits water molecules during photosynthesis. Vast amount of water is needed. Then glucose is extracted out, and you just see at the diagram, or at the, you can say that depicting the pencil or anything that is showing on that how water is coming out and going out like this. You know that oxygen and glucose, when you are giving water and the light plus carbon dioxide working alongside. Now if you see that cuticles are absorbing the light and upper epidermal cells, then you see there is a spongy below it. But before that, we are talking about the absorption of light, that how light is absorbing. And this upper part of the leaf, it does not block sunlight. It absorbs all the sunlight. It does not block it. Okay. And this gives the chemical reaction. This forms the chemical reaction of photosynthesis. Then there is a spongy morphosyle, like we'll be talking about a little while later on it. Like now, let's talk about that. The tall and closely packed cells absorb maximum light. The palisade mesophyll layer contains a high concentration of chloroplasts. Most of the photosynthesis takes place in the palisade cells because it absorbs most of the light. This is a spongy material basically. Okay, now spongy mesophyll. The layer is made up of loosely packed cells and many air pockets located just above the stomata. The spongy mesophyll layers allow for easy gas exchange. Which is the gas exchange basically? Yes, you know about carbon dioxide and oxygen. That how when carbon dioxide would be used, it would exchange the layer after the photosynthesis process and pass oxygen. Then there are stroma. You know about that. What was stroma? Stroma was basically, yeah, two guard cells. And you know that amazing part, stomata, the average plant contains 200,000 materials. Then you know that carbon dioxide is passing, then the stroma is releasing oxygen after photosynthesis process. Like see at the guard cells. Yeah. As soon as guard cells absorb carbon dioxide, they release oxygen. You are seeing that brown and blue molecules that are going on. Okay. Now, let's talk about that carbon dioxide is building block of organic material. This was all in the video, like ATP synthesis, then osmosis, that how from a lower to higher concentration, then bearing fruit. Then we have talked about growth rings, how they move on, then conical root, then how much water it needs, and then makes plant to grow, and all the process of photosynthesis. Then there is a diagram that is draw and label it. I hope you have understand about each and every process, but still if you find it confusing, if you find anything else that it is not being able, that is much more difficult for you guys, just let me know. I'll be helping you out with this. But do label it by yourself. If you have any kind of misconceptions, to ask me. I'll be happy to answer your questions, answer your question and answer sessions. Well, anything else that you want to ask me, I'll be waiting for that. See you soon enough. Okay, Allah Hafiz. Salam.